like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should go. Go. Feel like I should go. Feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should go. Feel like I should go. Feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should.
Good morning. You know, I was thinking about this Drake thing overnight, and we've been talking about it on the stream. A couple of people called in, they had some interesting thoughts about it, more along the lines of who won the battle, who lost the battle. I really didn't care one way or the other. But I did find some things interesting. You know, we've done a couple of streams here, and I said, I think Drake has won the battle in relation to the other rappers. Let me make sure I'm not on mute. Make sure you can hear me here. Let's see here. My mic should be on. Let's make sure my mic is on. Yeah, I think my mic is on there. Anyone in the chat, if you can hear me, just put a 1 in the chat. Let me pull it up on YouTube just so I'll know I'm up and I can get some chat engagement here. Let me put that up here. Give me 1 second. And so I'm going to talk about the how I think Lucian Grainge may have snared Drake here. I think it's going to be kind of interesting. So let me share a couple of things that I noticed about Lucian Grainge and Drake and all these other people. So the first screen, let's see, I want to share here. Lucian Grainge, as I was reading about him, he's a very, very sophisticated businessman. And a lot of people have said, you know, he's like a killer in terms of negotiation. You've heard Donald Trump say things like that in terms of, you know, people having a killer negotiation skill, and that is how people have described Lucian Grainge. So I'll see if I can find some of these articles about Lucian Grainge here, and as well as Drake, and how Drake may have been snookered here. And we'll go into some of this. Let's see if I can share my screen with you. And the first screen I want to share with you, I guess, would be, the first screen I'll share with you would be this one here. And so this is an article about Lucian Grainge. Just a comment about a guy that he took over for the CEO. And you should be able to see that here. Let me scroll down. I don't even have to scroll down. There's a certain word I can look for here. And that word is killer. And you'll see what the man said about Lucian Grainge, if I can find it here. Oh, jumping around a little bit. If it doesn't jump again, here it is. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see it. This is a guy speaking on Lucian Grainge here, and they're referring to an earnings call. That's the context. Doug Morris, the previous chair of UMG, and I think Lucian Grainge kind of undermined this guy to get him out. When he was still Grainge boss, he said behind that face, that little cute face, nice face, he's actually a killer shark. In 2011, Grainge devoured Morris's job. So they kind of give you an idea of the type of person that you're dealing with. It, you know, you're dealing with a person who undermined his own boss here. So you can expect that he may not show you that same loyalty as well. And so here's another article, and I'm kind of agreeing with Drake, but let me show you something that I found interesting. And so Drake is very much aware of these things. And let me see if I can show you here. Well, here's another article. Let's see. Let me see if I can just share this. Let me see if I can just share this window instead. That'll be easier. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Screen capture. This one here. And what screen do I want to capture? Let's capture this one. this one? So yeah, let's capture this. All right. So I want to make sure I'm looking at the right article here. Give me 1 second. Hey, so you see here. Let me maximize the screen a bit. Let me put this up here, just so you can see it. So you see here, and here's what I think is very important. What Drake is arguing about here. This is beyond, deep down and below the surface. What I think Drake has gotten himself ensnared in. Universal is not a financial player. These are quotes from Lucian Grainge. And when it comes to investing in catalogs, control is critical. Catalog control is critical. You have to remember that. Commenting on Universal's capital allocation, that's meaning how they invest their money, Lucian Grainge argued that UMG is not a financial player. We are not an instrument. We leave income streams, royalty streams to others. Control is critical. He argues that they've done very few deals, but that the deals they've done are the best, whether they define history or culture. Here's another article here. Well, here's something from ChatGPT that I've been thinking about here. And I know I'm kind of going out of order, but hopefully you can follow me. Here's a question I asked ChatGPT. What happens to Drake's masters if he can't pay? Is this the question here? And here are the answers. What would happen to Drake masters if he can't pay the advance back? Now, remember, Drake has reportedly received about a $400 million advance, and here's some of the response. Here's the response back from ChatGPT. If an artist like Drake unable to pay or pay in advance, provided the handling of his masters would depend on the terms of his recording contract. Advances are recoupable but not refundable. If the advance is not recouped, the artist usually doesn't have to pay it directly back out of pocket, but they won't see royalty income until the advance is recouped. Ownership of masters, if Drake's owned his masters, likely that given that kind of money, the contract might include clauses giving the label a lien or other rights if the advance isn't recouped. Now remember, Lucian Grainge says he wants total control. That's what he's after. And here is kind of an example of where Lucian Grainge may have been able to extract some control over Drake's masters with the lure of the large amount in terms of the advance. Here's another article here. Let's see if I can find it here. And UMG responds to Drake's lawsuit here, and they're claiming that they did not engage with Spotify or Apple or the other DSPs to kind of boost Kendrick's sales, and Drake is alleging that by boosting his sales, that they are hurting Drake's streams. So UMG here said the suggestion that they would do anything to undermine any of his artists are untrue. And which brings me to the thought, like, if anyone has ever watched wrestling and the heel, there's always a heel in wrestling. And Drake for many years has been the heel, but he's always been winning. And usually the heel doesn't win. And in this case, it is as if UMG has found someone to effectively beat the unpopular heel. And Kendrick Lamar is the one that they've narrated the kind of the reality show of sort to defeat the Drake that no one really liked anyway. Even though he had good music, they really didn't like him. So they found a guy that was sympathetic to the culture, as Lucian Grainge mentioned culture, and they found him to kind of take Drake down in a sense. And they play both sides because they own both labels. They own Interscope and they own the other one, I think Republic, which Drake is signed to. So it's really a win-win. There's no lose here for UMG. Now, here's what else I found interesting here, and I'm going to see if I can find it here. For those of you that were unaware of this, and I hope I have it up here. Let's see. That's not it. I'll close that stream. Let's see. Where did I have that? Well, you see another AI overview. If an artist doesn't pay back their advance to a record label, according to their contract, they can technically lose their masters. And I think with Lucian Grainge being totally out of control, that is probably one of the things that he would want. Now, here's what's interesting about Drake and Drake's complaint about the boosting of streaming sales. And I noticed this on Twitter the other night, and I didn't mention it the other day. Let me see if I can find this for you. Drake Spotify refunds. And we're going to get into this article here. In July 2018, some Spotify users demanded refunds or a free month of service after the release of Drake's album Scorpion. And let's see what the article is. We'll find an article, probably a video about it. Let's see. And here's a video. And of course, we can't play the music here. We can play the video.
Much Drake, apparently,
$500,000 on my head, I can't
according to a number of Spotify users who are demanding refunds due to what they see as the excessive promotion of the Toronto MC following the release of his new album Scorpion. In an unprecedented move, the streaming giant deemed the release period Scorpion season and placed Drake's image prominently across the artwork for their editorial playlists, some of which, like Best of British, Massive Dance Hits, and Happy Pop Hits, didn't even feature the rapper. The main complaint seems to be that for a service that some users pay to enjoy ad-free, the Drake hysteria feels an awful lot like advertising. One Reddit user shared their frustration with the company and claimed they were refunded for this month's payment after contacting customer service. Others have described similar experiences, either receiving refunds or credits towards a complimentary month of service. Spotify declined to comment, but sources tell Billboard the complaints have been relatively minimal and no refund policy has been put in place.
God's plan. God's plan.
You know, I can't play the video, but anyway, you get the gist here of what Drake benefited from, and now he seems to be arguing that that same tactic that was used to boost his sales have now been used to boost someone else's sales to his detriment, he argues. And let's see if we can find an article about that, about this. What happened here? It is Drake accuses UMG. Well, this is a new article, and we're gonna find it here. Too much Drake promotion. Here it is from Billboard. So again, Drake benefited from this, and now that it is being used against him by Lucian Grainge, which is probably cramping his style, which is what he's saying is cramping his ability to monetize his streams if UMG is going all in with Kendrick. You can't listen to one song at a time. And if they're listening to Kendrick to the detriment of Drake, then he's feeling like the record company has colluded against him, but they did the same thing for him back with his album Scorpion. On Friday, Spotify spent the weekend spreading the news of a promotional takeover that might have helped hype up fans, but also turned off some. With the release of Drake's album on Friday, Spotify spent the weekend spreading the news, heralding what Spotify referred to as Scorpion season. Drake was placed so prominently on the streaming service's editorial playlist that his image was even used on those that did not feature his music. Best of British, Massive Dance Hits, and Happy Pop Hits among them. This is the first time a single artist has taken over multiple Spotify playlists on the same day. So again, Drake is arguing that what Spotify and Apple did for Kendrick Lamar by way of UMG, the backdoor payments, he doesn't like it now that it's being done against him. And so I found it to be very interesting. Let's see what it says here. I'm not sure. Well, this is probably just, this is kind of the features on Spotify here. You can see all of the Drake features on Spotify. Drake Scorpion season streaming now. There's Spotify. The campaign was intended to be a quirky celebration. Spotify's top streaming artist, helping him to break the 1 week U.S. streaming record in only 3 days. So, again, this is very interesting that Drake has benefited from the same things that he is now criticizing UMG for helping Kendrick Lamar. As I said, you know, it almost reminds me of wrestling, where Drake has been the hated villain for so long, but he's been winning, unlike the heel in most cases. And in this case, UMG saw an opportunity to make money on both sides. But I do agree, and here's one thing I do want to say about what Drake is arguing. And we've seen this happen before, even with Michael Jackson. Let's see. And here's what Drake is saying here. UMG could have refused to release or distribute the song or required the offending material to be edited and or removed. And I do think that's true, but UMG chose to do the opposite, where Kendrick is calling Drake a certified pedophile. So in this case, Drake, a UMG artist, is being knocked down by Kendrick Lamar, and he's arguing that his career would be hurt by allowing Kendrick Lamar to release lyrics calling him a certified pedophile and predator. And Drake, we all know that he makes his career oftentimes doing features with other artists, and this may impact his ability to do features with other artists, which may affect his ability to repay that advance. And the advance is not dollar for dollar like you may think it is. So, very interesting. And I think in this case, Lucian Grainge may have pulled a hat trick out on the biggest star, and you'll see that there are many stars that say Drake did not have to sign with a label. He could have gone on his own, and he could have released his albums and did it on streaming on his own, charged fans $10 or so, and he would have made, I think someone speculated he would have made $10 million a week. Let me see if I can find this article. If I can find it. If not, you can find it here. Drake, I'll find it. Drake, independent. So it really leads you to ask, why wouldn't he have done that? Independent millions contract. Let's see. I'll find that contract. It really makes you wonder, why didn't he go independent? Let's see if I can find that article. Let's see. And here it is. I think it's in this article. Yep, it is $10 million a week. That's what someone is saying, that he could have made 10 million. 10 million. And so you'll see here's, I think this is Steve Stout speaking, or someone else. Steve Stout and rapper Russ discussed the possibility of Drake going independent, and they said if he was fully independent, he will make $10 million a week for 60 weeks straight. That's $600 million. And that's just saying, if he just posted a picture on Instagram of every new album with the link in bio, he'd make $10 million a week for 60 weeks. Yet he signed a wraparound deal with Lucian Grainge. Did he sell his soul to the devil there? As I always say, if you got the dope, you don't need to share. You don't need the middleman. And I think in this sense, Drake kind of involved the middleman in an instance where he really did not need the middleman. And I think it's going to come back to bite him. So anyway, shall be very interesting, guys. Anyway, I thank you guys for joining. As you know, we stream 24/7, 365, almost every day. We take a couple days off. But with that being said, I'd like for you guys to, support the channel. You see the Cash Apps on the banner. We set Streamlabs as well. And once again, I say Chris Reed, Bobby Perkins. I hope you've enjoyed this Drake coverage. I think it's strictly business here, and I think that Lucian Grainge got him. I think they have control of both artists, and they can use them kind of like puppets on the string here. Anyway, thanks guys for joining.